Welcome to the Good Fight Sports Podcast, your home for local sports here in the 574. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good Fight Sports Podcast. My name is Kenny Cramer. I'm the host. It is Saturday, May 27th, when this is being recorded. We're going to dive right in here. Couple of sad things to bring across. First, Cleveland Browns Hall of Famer and Pro Football Hall of Famer Jim Brown has passed away. He was 87, and he passed away May 18th out in Los Angeles. So condolences to his family with that. The other sad news we have to bring is former New Prairie Cougar and current Olivet Nazarene basketball player Brandon Flagg has also passed away, and he was in a car accident Thursday, and that's per WHME reports. And our deepest condolences go out to his family and friends as well. With that, we're going to move on to lighter news. First off, the Hoosier North has added two more teams in all sports. They are Oregon Davis and Argus, and they will be joining the conference in 2024-25. So not this upcoming school year, but the next school year, they will be officially in the Hoosier North Athletic Conference. And Oregon Davis and Argus were previously in the Hoosier Plains Conference, which was a conference that did not have all sports. A lot of it was mainly basketball, soccer. A lot of it had to do with soccer. It was mainly a basketball and soccer conference. And I don't know what the Hoosier Plains Conference is going to do without Argus. Oregon Davis, Hoosier Plains is getting a big upgrade by not having Oregon Davis in the conference. The Hoosier North, however, it's taking a big step back by allowing Oregon Davis to come in all sports, just for the reason that Oregon Davis and Argus do not have football. So that's two schools that won't be in the conference, won't be in the football end of the conference, but will be in the soccer, basketball, I think a little bit of track. I don't know for sure. I know there's going to be a lot of schools for soccer because the Hoosier North was a big soccer conference. But the Hoosier Plains losing two schools and the Hoosier North adding two schools, I don't see why the Hoosier North added Oregon Davis, just for the simple reason that Oregon Davis, I'm going to be quite honest and quite straightforward here. Oregon Davis doesn't have a lot of good sports teams very often. The last time Oregon Davis had a good sports team was the girls basketball team when they were under the head coach of Terry Minix. He was a really good coach for OD back in the – he was there for a while. I think he left in 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. He decided to either step down or retire. I don't know for sure the information there. Maybe someone can reach out to me and tell me exactly what happened there. Argus, on the other hand, is a good fit for the Hoosier North without having football, just for the simple fact that it gives you another soccer school, because Argus does not have a football team. They focus primarily on soccer, and they do a great job of focusing on soccer. They are really good in soccer, in both boys and girls. I think they do have baseball and I think softball too. I don't think Oregon Davis has softball, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. If I am, someone please correct me, and that would be greatly appreciated. Moving on, Elkhart has found its new boys basketball coach in Will Cody. He has been with the school 12 years, and he was the girls basketball coach, and he helped rebuild the girls program, finishing at or above 500 6 of the last 7 seasons. So he's had quite a bit of success there on the girls' end. We'll see how that entails to flipping over to the boys' end of things, because it is a lot different. It's fast-paced. It's with the rule changes too. It's going to be a lot different. If you weren't aware, in our last podcast that we did, we talked about the new rule changes, and that those rule changes are there will be no 1-and-1s for free throws. They will be strictly going to teams will be strictly going to the bonus at 5 fouls, and that will be 2 shots and not 1-and-1, and those fouls will reset every quarter. So basically, it's going to be a less time NBA game. Instead of playing 12-minute quarters, they will play 8-minute quarters. That's what high school does for varsity. So it's gonna be weird. I think it's gonna take a little bit of adjusting to, mainly probably for the fan aspect. I think the players will kind of easily grab on because they easily adapt to different things. But I think the fans and maybe some of the referees are gonna have to get used to the new free throw rule change. Then that also goes with position where the ball is. If a team is not in the bonus, if I'm not mistaken, if it's past the 28-foot line, the ball's taken out by half court. If it's inside the 28-foot line, the ball's taken out on the baseline. Again, if I'm wrong, someone please correct me. That would be greatly appreciated. Moving on now to LaVille girls track. The girls track team, 3 of the girls track members went to the Goshen regionals. I apologize for leaving one person out, and that was Mariah Richart. Mariah Richart also moved on to the Goshen regionals, which were May 23rd, hosted at Goshen High School. And Lucy Shirk finished in 5th place in shot put. And she also had a personal best in that one, 38 feet 6 inches. And Brooke Edison finished 11th in high jump. She cleared 410, but did not make it past 5 foot, and that put her 11th in high jump. And also Mariah Richart did not move on either, but Mariah Richart is also gaining a lot of experience and knowledge for next year on what she needs to do to get better, what she needs to do in the off season, and how basically how, like, what to expect at the next level, and the next level being at regionals. It's sectionals is one thing, but when you're going to regional, you're going for a shot for to make it down the state. So it's going to be awesome to see what Mariah Richart does next season in girls track. Now we're going to move on to softball. Girls softball, NCAA, this is. And there is a lot of news here for the Los Angeles Regional that was hosted at UCLA. So we're going to start off May 19th. Grand Canyon University knocked off the number 2 ranked UCLA Bruins by the score of 3-2. Madison Schaefer hit a 3-run home run in the 4th for the Lopes to make the score 3-1. And that was all starting pitcher Emily Darwin needed to get the W. She improves to 9-3 on the year. So Emily Darwin got the win, but starting pitcher Megan Golden went 2 1/3 with 3 hits, 1 earned run, and 1 strikeout. But she finished with a .93 ERA. That's a 1.93 earned run average. It's pretty good. I mean, holding someone under 2, that's pretty darn good for what I'm thinking. And on the losing end, Bruins pitcher Megan Fararimo is now 29-3. Went 3 1/3, gave up 2 hits, 3 earned runs, but she had 6 strikeouts and a 1.43 ERA. So it's a lot of strikeouts there, but crucial hits for the Lopes at different times, and that was the key. And with this win, the Lopes improved to 47-11 on the year. I'll say that 3 times fast. But this is also coming after the Lopes lost to the Bruins last year, 12-1. And now now GCU will face San Diego State, who is 37-15, and if you're wondering how the NCAA softball bracket is set up for regional, it is a double elimination bracket. So if you lose, you go into the loser's end. If you lose again, then you're on the hot seat. And in the other game for GCU, when they played San Diego State, they got walloped 6-0. Aztec pitcher Sarah Lehman had a no-hitter through 4 innings, and she faced 13 batters and had 6 strikeouts. The only 2 hits of the game came from Didi Hernandez, and she allowed 2 hits, struck out 4 in 2 innings, and then Allie Light closed out the game for the Aztecs through a combined 2-hitter. She closed out the game with 2 strikeouts, didn't allow a hit. So for the game, it was a combined 2-hitter between those 3 pitchers, and they had 12 total strikeouts. The Lopes moved on to play Liberty in the elimination game, and when they played Liberty, you'll find out what happens when they play Liberty. But Liberty knocked off number 2 UCLA as well. So UCLA got knocked out of their own regional at home, by the way, which is crazy. No, I don't think anyone saw this coming. If they did, they're a genius. That's what I got to say. They're a genius. I never saw this coming, but then again, I really wasn't paying attention to it. To be quite honest, it was definitely surprising when I saw this one. So Liberty knocked off number 2 UCLA. Liberty now 40-21, and UCLA 52-7 on the year. And this was Saturday, May 20th, and that final score was 2-1 in favor of the Flames. Flames pitcher Carly Keeney is now 26-11, went 7 innings. Allowing just 1 walk and 1 earned run on 7 hits and 2 strikeouts. And the losing pitcher, Brooke Yanez for UCLA, now 16-3, went 6 2/3, allowing 2 walks, 2 hits, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, and 9 strikeouts. And she finished with a .99 ERA. So a good ERA. And a lot of strikeouts, but once again, it was those crucial hits that really hurt the UCLA pitching staff, and Liberty cashed in on it. I mean, that's what you got to do to beat these teams. You have to be opportunistic and seek out those hits in order to get the upsets. So Liberty faced GCU in the next game, and this was an elimination game, and Liberty kind of took it to GCU. They won 5-1 to advance to the championship game of the Los Angeles Regional. The Flames pitcher, again, Carly Keeney, went 7 innings. She just allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, but had 2 strikeouts. And the Lopes pitchers got flamed, pun intended, allowing 9 total hits, 5 of which came from Ariel Thompson. And the Lopes finished the year 47-13. So a great season for the GCU softball team. A lot of things that they can improve on for next year is making sure that they finish games, making sure that they get up for games. You can't let your opponent dictate tempo of the game, especially in softball or even if it's baseball. Both of those sports, you don't have to be pushing tempo in the game, especially in college where there is no pitch clock, and softball. I don't know the rules of professional softball, so I can't talk about that much. But in baseball, professional baseball, you got pitch clocks, and they kind of want the game to go. College baseball, high school baseball, you have the advantage of there is no pitch clock, and that game just comes to you naturally. It's the way baseball is supposed to be played. No clock, no nothing, just baseball. And speaking... Oh, my bad. We got to move on to the championship game of the Los Angeles Regional, and San Diego State won that on May 21st, and they advanced to the Super Regional in Salt Lake City, and they will play the 15-seed Utah Utes, and that is hosted at Utah, but it's in Salt Lake City. The GCU baseball team, by the way, is now won the WAC regular season title. That is the conference that GCU is in all sports. And they won this for a 3rd straight time, and this marks their 5th title in 6 seasons. So, regular season championships for GCU, hey, that's pretty darn good when you have 5 of 6 and you now have 3 straight. They will now go to the tournament of the WAC, and unfortunately they came up short in that tournament, did not make it to the championship game. They got routed by Sam Houston State, the number 2 seed. I believe it was 22-8. So just absolutely demolished. They had GCU had a shot to make it a game. They had it down to 16-7 at one point, and then 16-8 at one point, but they could not get it any closer. Sam Houston State just jumped all over GCU right off the bat, and it was never close. And then unfortunately, GCU's season comes to an end. They could make it to the NCAA baseball tournament. We'll have to wait and see. I think they have a shot at doing it, but I wouldn't. If you were out there cheering for Lopes baseball, I wouldn't be holding my breath on that. It's one of those where they probably should have won the WAC title, because then they would be automatically qualified for the tournament. But unfortunately, they lost, and they lost twice, so they got knocked out. So we'll see if they make the tournament or not. We'll see. If they do or if they don't, we will bring that news to you at the proper time. Now we move to Notre Dame, and we've got a lot of Notre Dame news to cover. So we're gonna go quickly here, but cover a lot of it. So Notre Dame got a commitment from 3-star inside linebacker Brody Cahoon from Roanoke, Virginia. This is the 16th commit for the Irish in the 2024 class, and this is ranked number 4 in the nation according to 247sports.com. So a lot of what you're going to hear ranking-wise is going to come from 247 Sports, not because I think they are right. I use 247 Sports. They're the first place that I go to, so I get all of my recruiting information on Notre Dame from them. So Notre Dame also landed 4-star defensive end and edge rusher Logan Thomas. This was a coveted 4-star pickup for the Irish, and he picked the Irish over Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, LSU, Texas, Texas A&M, and USC. In addition to this, Notre Dame had a 4-star commit also decommit, and this was a mutual affair by both parties. The commit that decommitted is Owen Wafel. Yes, and so the saying is now, yes, Owen Wafel did waffle, but it's okay. You're going to have this sometimes. A lot of it's where you recruit someone and they're like, yeah, I want to play for you. I want to do this. I want to do that. Maybe their grades are not where Notre Dame's standards are. Maybe he wants to stay close to family. I don't know the exact reason, but there's a lot of hypothetical out there that he might end up at Michigan, also known as Meat Chicken, playing for the former defensive line coach at Notre Dame, Mike Elston, who's now up at Meat Chicken. In other Notre Dame news, and this one is a fun fact here too, the Notre Dame Navy game is now a sellout, and that was announced by Notre Dame, which is not surprising. The surprising thing is, and the fun fact of this game too, it is now going to be a new world record for Americans traveling internationally for a single game. It is estimated that 39,000 plus people from America are going to be traveling to Ireland to watch Notre Dame and Navy play. And Aviva Stadium, where the game is happening, only holds 51,700. So that leaves 12,000 seats open. And who knows if that's going to be all Irish people. And I say that for Ireland. Who knows? There could be more than 39,000 Americans there. I would not be surprised in the slightest. A lot of those are going to be Notre Dame fans. But a lot of it, I believe, are going to be the midshipmen that's going to be traveling over. Obviously, you got the football team, but I don't think they count as stats for people traveling internationally. I think they might bring a lot of midshipmen to the game. A lot of cadets. No, cadets. They're not cadets. That's Army. My bad. If you're a Navy fan, I'm sorry. I apologize. Go Navy, beat Army. But yeah, I think they're going to bring a lot of midshipmen over. They usually do. The last time they played, which is back in 2012, I believe Navy had a good showing of midshipmen there. But we'll see. We'll see. So, and Notre Dame Lacrosse, and we have some big news for Notre Dame Lacrosse. So we're going to go back all the way to May 21st here. Notre Dame beat Johns Hopkins 12-9. That was Sunday, May 21st in Annapolis, where Navy is located. So Jack Simmons and Jake Taylor for the Irish both tallied hat tricks in the game. Chris Kavanaugh and Jalen Seymour both had 2 goals as well. Notre Dame was in control of the entire game, possession and shot-wise. So Notre Dame now moves on to face Virginia in the semifinals next Saturday in Philadelphia. Saturday being today, May 27th, and we will have news and coverage on that game here in a little bit. Goalie Liam Entenmann was named Goalie of the Year by USILA, that is the United States Intercollegiate Lacrosse Association. So he currently has 166 saves on the season, and that is a 56.7 save percentage. So not quite shabby. I believe he's ranked number 4 in goalies for lacrosse in the NCAA. and that's all schools that play lacrosse. Now, getting to the big game of the day, Notre Dame, Virginia was today, and Notre Dame came back from a 3-point deficit in the fourth quarter, mind you, to beat Virginia in overtime, 13-12, to move on in the tournament to the national championship game, which will be Monday, and that would be the 29th of May. So in the game, the Irish scored with 32.5 seconds left in the game to force overtime, and then Brian Tevlin won it for the Irish with just over 3.5 minutes left in the overtime period. And in lacrosse, it is you score a goal, that we end it there. It's only basically it's do or die. So and the Irish came out on top, and the scoring for Notre Dame lacrosse and for Notre Dame was just unreal. So Eric Dobson finished with 4 goals, Pat Cavanaugh 2, Jack Simmons 2, Jake Taylor 2, Brian Tevlin 1, Chris Tavenaugh 1, and Ben Ramsey 1. That was all of the scoring by Notre Dame. So the Irish are now 13-2. We'll move on to play Duke Monday in Philadelphia for the national championship. The last time these two schools have met, Notre Dame won pretty handedly up in Arlotta Stadium in South Bend. I expect Duke to come out and play a lot better in that game, but I mean the high that Notre Dame is feeling right now, you almost have to think it's like, oh boy, we hope they don't come out and lay an egg in the game, because you have a high right now of beating Virginia, and you're going to come out and you might lay an egg in the next game. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully Notre Dame comes out strong like they did today against Virginia. Notre Dame got out to a 2-0 lead pretty quickly, very quickly, honestly. And from then on, it was basically a game of cat and mouse. One team would score, the other team would score. Virginia scored 3 in a row, and then Notre Dame answered to tie the game. But then it was a lot of just back and forth. No team had a lead of more than a goal up until the fourth quarter, when Virginia had a 3-point lead. So in the game, Liam Entenmann had 11 saves, and Virginia goalie Matthew Nunes had 17, which was a career high for Nunes in the game against Notre Dame. And in the last game that they played, Virginia and Notre Dame had played twice. Both times Virginia has won, one in Arlotta Stadium and one in Charlottesville. The last time they played in Charlottesville, Nunes had 16 saves against the Irish to get a 12-8 win over the Irish again, to go to 2-0 against the Irish on the season. But in this game, the Irish came up strong and prevailed in the game. So Notre Dame is now 1-2 against Virginia on the year, and the one game where it actually mattered, they got the win. So we will inform you on what happens on Monday on who wins the national championship in lacrosse. Final news of college sports. This also affects high school sports in the state of Michigan. So Michigan State, Penn State was supposed to be Saturday. They have moved it to Black Friday in Detroit. And the big news about this is it will push the state finals for football in the state of Michigan back to both Saturday and Sunday. I've seen a lot of feedback on people not happy that high school games will be happening on a Sunday. There is also other states where they do this. I don't know if it works. I know Indiana does Friday and Saturday. That seems to work best for the kids, and I think Indiana should keep it. It's Friday and Saturday. You do not need to do Sunday. because you won't have a good crowd, because a lot of the people are going to be like, hey, we have things to do. We have church. We have this. We have that. We go over to family, and we see family. So I don't ever see Indiana moving the high school football state finals to Saturday and Sunday. Even if there was a schedule conflict, I just don't see it happening. All right, NBA Conference Finals. A lot to cover here. A lot to cover here. So May 19th, that was a Friday night. Miami defeated Boston 111-105 to take a 2-0 series lead. Jimmy Butler had 27 points, and Caleb Martin had 25, and then Bam Adebayo had 22 points and 17 rebounds. For the Celtics, Jason Tatum had 34 points and 13 rebounds. No one else was close to him on scoring. In the Western Conference, the Nuggets defeated the Lakers Saturday, May 20th, to take a commanding 3-0 series lead. Jamal Murray once again dominant with 37 points. Jokic added 24 points, and Michael Porter Jr. added 17 points and 14 rebounds. For the Lakers, Anthony Davis finished with a double-double with 28 points and 18 rebounds, and LeBron James added 23 points and 12 assists. And Reeves also scored 23 points in the game as well. Back to the Eastern Conference. Miami routed Boston in Game 3, 128-102 Sunday night, May 21st, to go up 3-0. Jimmy Butler had 29 points, and Duncan Robinson added 22. This was not a good night for Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum only had 14 points and 10 rebounds, and Jaylen Brown had 12 points. So now we're going to move over back again to the Western Conference Finals, and Denver swept the Lakers with a 113-111 win Monday night, May 22nd. Jokic grabbed his eighth triple-double of the postseason with 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 13 assists. Jamal Murray added 25. Aaron Gordon had 22. Michael Porter Jr. had 15 points and 10 rebounds. For the Lakers, LeBron James had a game-high 40 points and grabbed 10 rebounds. And Anthony Davis had 21 points and 14 rebounds as well. Nuggets are going to their first ever NBA Finals in franchise history, and they will await the winner of Miami and Boston. Speaking of which, Boston in Game 4 forces a Game 5 with a 116-99 win. Jason Tatum had 33 points and 11 rebounds. Jimmy Butler had 29 points for the Heat, and Miami is now up 3-1. Celtics again got a 13-point win this time in Game 5 in Boston. That was Thursday, May 26th. Boston had 4 players with 20-plus points. They're led by Derek White with 24. Marcus Smart had 23. Jaylen Brown had 23. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both had 23. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both had 21. My bad. Tatum also dished out 11 assists in the game as well. For the Heat, no one finished over 19 points. The high point man for Miami was Duncan Robinson with 18 points. And I believe Jimmy Butler had his worst game of the playoffs in this game. He only scored 14 points, but that's not the issue I have. The issue that I have is he had a negative 24 plus minus for the game. And if you're wondering what that means, that basically means when Jimmy Butler was on the court, Miami was down by 24 points on average. That's ridiculous. The highest player for the Heat was Duncan Robinson, and he had a +7. So that means when Duncan Robinson was on the court, Miami was ahead by 7. That's not good. And for Boston, I believe the starting 5 all was over plus 20, which was ridiculous. So Miami now leads 3-2, and Game 6 right now is happening. We're going to give a live score update on this game right now as I look it up real quick to see who's in the lead here in this game. So we'll see really quick here who's up. Looks like Boston is going to win Game 6. It looks like Boston is going to finish. It's going to force a Game 7. They have now won. It looks like they have now won 3 games in a row now, and I'm just kind of watching to make sure I don't see any different stats come up here. There's 16.9 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Boston leads 102-101. I do believe that game is over now, so I'm going to say Boston forces a Game 7. And what's funny about this is Richard Jefferson, former Cleveland Cavaliers player, stated that Boston was going to come back from a 3-0 deficit for the first time ever in NBA history and moved on to the finals. I didn't think it was possible. I thought that either Miami was going to sweep or they would do a gentleman's sweep of Boston, which is winning 4-1 instead of 4-0. Looks like everyone is going to be wrong. I did not see this happening. Boston beating Miami again for a third straight time. So if you're now Miami, what do you do? I mean, what do you do? How do you get back into things? Because you've now lost 3 in a row. You were up 3-0, and you have allowed Boston to come back in the game and in the series. And we'll give some scores right now. We'll give some player stats. Jason Tatum, 31 points, 11 rebounds. Marcus Smart has 21. Jaylen Brown had 26 for the Heat. Jimmy Butler had a double-double, 21 points, 11 rebounds. Bam Adebayo had 11 points, 13 rebounds. Kayla Martin had 21 points, 15 rebounds. So Miami had 3 players with a double-double, but it doesn't look like it was enough. And Duncan Robinson only had 13 points and only grabbed 1 rebound. So, man, I just did not see this happening at all. Wow. I think the Celtics are going to win the series. I think they're going to be the first team in NBA history to come back from a 3-0 series, from a 3-0 deficit in a series. As of right now, any team in the NBA playoffs that is up 3 games to nothing is 150-0. Denver was that +1 to that stat when they beat Los Angeles to move on to the NBA Finals. If they would have lost that game, since they won the game, teams up until that game were 149-0. So 150-0 are teams that lead 3-0. And it looks like this could be 150-1, with Miami being that one team that could not close out the Celtics. I did not see this going 7 games after Miami got it to 3-0. I did not see it going 7. 6, I could theoretically see it because Boston was like, all right, we need to get 1. That way we don't get swept. But it's like, dude, I did not see a Game 7 coming. Moving on now off of the NBA. NHL. Haven't really covered the NHL a lot. They're right now in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Mostly now it is conference finals, and the Florida Panthers swept the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Finals Wednesday, May 25th, to reach their second Stanley Cup in franchise history. And they faced the winner of Vegas and Dallas, so Vegas Knights and the Dallas Stars. And in the game for the Florida Panthers, goalie Sergei Bobrovsky had 36 saves, and that's a 92% save percentage of the 39 shots that he faced. And on the other side of the ice, Frederik Andersen finished with 20 saves of the 24 shots that he faced, and that's an 83.3 save percentage. In the Western Conference, the Dallas Stars have forced a Game 5 in the Western Conference Finals Thursday, May 26th. Jason Robertson for the Stars had 2 goals, and Jake Ottinger had 37 saves for the Stars, and it is a 94.9% save percentage, and that was of 39 shots that he faced. On the flip side, Vegas Knights goalie Aiden Hill finished with 39 saves of the 42 shots that he faced, and that's a 92.9 save percentage. And Vegas now leads 3-1. However, that has now changed. The Vegas Knights picked up a win in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals and now will face the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final. Vegas got the win 4-2 tonight against the Stars. So we will have the Panthers versus the Knights in the Stanley Cup Final. And my prediction is I think that the Vegas Knights are going to get their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. They've made it to the Stanley Cup Final before, but came up short when they played Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. Some NFL news we're going to cover really quickly. A new rule change has been established, and that is touchbacks on kickoffs and punts will come out to the 25-yard line. And there's been heavy pushback on this rule, especially from Pat McAfee against this, stating that this takes away from strategy of the game. And Chiefs head coach Andy Reid also said, if we're going to do this, let's just make it flag football. We're coming pretty close to it anyway. And he's not wrong. The game has gotten a lot more. Yes, they're making it safer, but they're almost making it to that point where it's too safe. Like, we all know that football is a violent sport in the first place, but to make it less violent, that's one thing to do. But just to go out of your way sometimes to make things less violent is just annoying. And I find this to be kind of annoying too. It's like, what are the benefits of this? What are the benefits? Because what I see is this takes away on field position later on in the game if a team doesn't have timeouts and needs to pin someone back deep. Teams can now just take a fair catch and get the ball at the 25-yard line, and I just don't agree with that. Anyway, the Arizona Cardinals have released DeAndre Hopkins after 3 seasons. He racked up a total of 221 catches for 2,696 yards and 17 touchdowns. And the future with the Cardinals had been in question ever since the end of 2022, especially during the draft. But Arizona did not deal him out during that. And he has a very high cap hit to the team as well, and that was a $30.75 million cap hit, which definitely hurt any sort of idea of hiring someone else, hiring an intern, doing something like that, because you're using a lot of data to get that when you could be spending that data somewhere else. And with that, we're going to leave qualifying to the separate IndyCar, Indy 500 show. We will start with qualifying and we will end with the 500. We had some other things planned out, but we were unable to get together due to cars being out of commission and just no sort of set schedule. So when we do come back, we will come back strong. We will make sure that we respond to everybody in our own time. So please be patient with us. With that, we are going to wrap up today's show. This was episode 13 of the Good Fight Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Cramer. So long, everybody. Hey guys, it's Kenny, host of The Good Fight. We hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to hear more, you can check out our website at thelugnutspodcastgroup.com for all information related to the podcast and where to listen to us. You can also follow the Patreon page for exclusive benefits for the show. Join us next time for The Good Fight.